Years ago, during a long bike trip with my best friend Graeme, we ran into a problem. And when you're traveling thousands of kilometers by bicycle, problems tend to show up at the worst possible times. This one happened just outside of Denver, Colorado. My rear derailleur failed. For anyone who doesn't cycle, that's the mechanism that moves the chain across the gears on the back wheel. When it fails, the bike becomes extremely difficult to ride. And on a long trip like that, with bags, gear, and miles ahead of you, it can completely change the day. Now here's the thing. Graeme's bike was working perfectly. He could have kept riding. He could have gone ahead to the next town. He could have said, "Catch up when you can." Instead, he did something I've never forgotten. He got off his bike and walked beside me for miles through the cold and the snow. Not because he had to, but because that's what a true friend does. They walk beside you, especially during the hard times. And that moment stuck with me, not because of the mechanical problem, but because it showed something deeper about how people support each other when things get difficult. When life is going well, it's easy to move forward together. But when someone slows down, when someone struggles, when someone hits a setback, that's when character shows up. That's when leadership shows up. And the truth is, this applies far beyond bike trips. It applies to families, it applies to friendships, and it definitely applies to the workplace. Because every team eventually encounters moments where someone falls behind. Someone gets overwhelmed, someone struggles. And the question becomes, do we race ahead or do we walk beside them? In the work I do with organizations through RTJ Wellness, this idea comes up often when we talk about resilience and team well-being. Strong teams don't just celebrate success. They support each other through difficulty, because resilience isn't just an individual skill, it's also a team culture. When people know that others will walk beside them during difficult moments, they're more willing to take risks. They're more willing to try new things, and they're more willing to admit when they need help. That creates stronger organizations. But that culture doesn't happen automatically. It happens because someone decides to model it. Just like Graeme did on that road years ago. He didn't make a speech about teamwork. He didn't give advice. He simply walked beside someone who was struggling. And sometimes the most powerful leadership lesson isn't something we say, it's something we do. So here's a question worth thinking about. When someone around you slows down or struggles or faces a setback, what do you tend to do? Do you move ahead or do you walk beside them? Because the moments when things are difficult often reveal the kind of team we're really building. If you enjoy reflections like this on stress, resilience, and well-being, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for being here.